Good morning. My name is Jay Rosenthal. I'm the Managing Director of Business of Cannabis. Welcome to the Cannabis Daily Show for Monday, March 28th, 2022. Since 2017, we've highlighted the companies, brands, people, and trends driving the cannabis industry, and we look to do that here every day. We'd love to hear from you in the comments, and always feel free to visit us at businessofcannabis.com, as well as through all of our social channels, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. And if you're watching this on YouTube, we'd ask you to please smash the subscribe button. It helps us a lot. Following today's rundown of the top news, we'll connect with Ethan Zohn, who recently became an ambassador for Trulieve's Momenta brand of cannabis wellness products. Zahn is well known for his winning Survivor, as well as being a cancer survivor. As a former professional athlete, an avid runner, and competitive Masters soccer player, we want to connect with him about how he uses cannabis in his daily life. Coming up Wednesday, March 30th, we'll reconvene online for our monthly retail series. It's presented by Leafly and Vitrina Group. We'll be talking about how to prepare your cannabis store or dispensary for 420. We'll be joined by insights from Headset, as well as Krista Raymer from Vitrina Group. Then in September, 2 days, Business of Cannabis New York. We'll be back in New York talking all things New York, but also all things cannabis, retail, tech, design, and data. Information on that in the links below. For today's stories, cannabis stocks rally on hopes for federal legalization in the U.S. The Garden State sales are delayed again. Madio launches marketing subsidiary, and Portuguese cannabis exports rise 566% in 2021. For our first story, Tilray and Sundial skyrocketed by more than 55% last week after the announcement that the House will vote on a federal cannabis legalization bill this week, this according to Bloomberg. Now, Canopy Growth and Aurora were also up by 10%. According to S3 Partners, short sellers in the four stocks are down more than $360 million this week. Cresco and Columbia deal also helped boost cannabis stocks. But it'll be tough to get the MORE Act, which is being considered in the House this week, through the Senate. Quote, cannabis legalization is not about the House or the House or the White House. This from according from a Cowen analyst. It's all about the Senate. For our second story, New Jersey was planning to launch adult use sales within weeks. This was weeks ago, but plans have been delayed. This in NJ.com. Here are some of the details. 8 medical dispensaries were going to be permitted to sell adult use cannabis in April, but that has been put on hold for now again. A total of 68 cultivators and manufacturers have been conditionally licensed, but operations won't begin until fall of 2022 at the earliest, and so that poses the problem that there isn't enough cannabis to supply both the adult use and medical markets. So if it's not happening now, then when? Well, the next Cannabis Commission board meeting isn't until May 24th. We call that May 24 here in Canada. But it's been suggested there could be a meeting earlier to sort out supply and when dispensaries can start selling. For our third story, our friends at New York-based Madio Communications have launched a new paid media marketing agency called Madio and Fiore, led by CEO Rosie Madio and former Hawk Media head of growth Madison Fiore, according to Benzinga. Madio Fiore will focus on overcoming legal and compliance challenges in paid media advertising, offering services in growth strategy, media buying, email, SMS marketing, and creative development. Good luck to everybody involved. For our final story, Portugal exported 30 tons of dried cannabis flower in 2021, according to data collected by the National Medical Authority, Informed. Reports, this is all in Business Can. That's an increase of 566% from 2020, when it exported 4.5 tons. Nearly all cannabis cultivated by the 18 licensed companies to do so in the country is exported. Another 80 cultivators and processors are awaiting inspection. Medical cannabis was legalized in 2018, but so far just Tilray has been authorized to sell products into medical consumers in the country. Those are the stories we're watching today. Join 12,000 others and catch all these stories and more in your inbox every day at 7 a.m. Eastern in our Cannabis Daily newsletter. Coming up on our BofC Live segment, we connect with Trulieve's new ambassador, Ethan Zohn. We'll be discussing his approach to cannabis use for wellness and recovery, as well as his new position as a brand ambassador for Momenta. This is Ethan Zohn. Ethan Zohn, nice to see you.
Good to see you, man. How's it going?
It's going well. We were just chumming around before we came on because you and I used to play soccer together. I don't want to even tell people that how many years ago it was. Probably started with the 3. but it was probably 33 or 34 years ago you and I played soccer together. Does that sound
Yeah,
right?
I think it was around 1986-ish, you know?
Yeah, 86. Yeah, definitely like mid to late 80s. And that makes us older.
Yeah.
That makes us older, I think, now by a lot. But it's good to see you. You look great.
So good to see you. Are you still playing at all?
No, but because I live in Canada now, I've transitioned to being very bad at hockey.
Nice.
Yeah. And I do like that. And it is a real challenge. And it is a challenge to get adequate at a new sport that involves like stick handling and skating. Did you ever play hockey growing up?
I played a little hockey, but I only stayed in the goal just because I wasn't so coordinated on skates, you know, which is weird because my mom forced me to take figure skating for like way too long. When all my friends were going to hockey or soccer or other sports, I was still figure skating to like an age that was a little bit inappropriate at what I thought at that time. But
Yeah,
strange.
but always in the goal. You're always in the goal.
Yeah, lacrosse as well. Lacrosse, I was the backup goalkeeper as a midi. And so I don't know why. I just like people hurling things in my face all the time.
I'm going to bring it back around to this. Are you ready?
Yes.
You're still very active. You run. I run a marathon. Well, you ran a marathon. I was also there running a marathon. We were very far apart. And you were actually you were guiding a blind runner at the time. So like you were way ahead of where I was, and that runner was crazy good.
Right.
You still play soccer. Very active building stuff in the woods in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
That takes its toll on a 40-something-year-old guy, does it not?
It totally does. It definitely does. You know, all those miles playing soccer, you know, building large structures in the middle of the woods. And by large structure, I mean by a 12 by 16 shed.
Pretty big.
But yeah, you know, it's fun. I really, you know, I lived in New York City for the longest time, and obviously confined to what New York City has to offer.
12 by 16.
Well, exactly. I was used to small living. It's an eco-friendly way to live. And so my wife and I, after we got married, moved to the middle of the woods in New Hampshire, and I'm having an incredible time, you know, learning all these new skills and testing myself in the wilderness. But, you know, we're trying to do a little bit of the off the grid thing. You know, we heat our house with wood, we drilled a well, we have a lake, we grow our vegetables. So it's kind of fun to be connecting with nature like that.
It is. And now I'm going to even bring it further back, because connecting with nature is why we're going to talk. You are now on Team Trulieve. It came across our desk. We're excited to connect with you. You're going to be an ambassador, a spokesperson, living the life of one of their brands, Momenta. Do I have all that right?
You have all that right. Yeah. Momenta is Trulieve's new everyday in-house wellness brand, and I'm going to be with their ambassador. So I'm pretty excited.
I love it. And I've done some rough math because it's been a big week in cannabis in the US. I still think Trulieve is the biggest in terms of number of locations, MSO, certainly dispensaries, MSO in the country. You don't have to confirm or deny that, but I've done the math, and I think
Yes.
Trulieve is still on top of that. And my family, many of them live in Florida, and certainly it is the one in Florida as well.
Definitely.
But also, you and I are from Massachusetts and spend some time there. There's a footprint there too, or there will be a bigger one, yeah?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, Trulieve is operating in 11 states. You know, the biggest footprint is in Arizona, in Florida, and Pennsylvania, but they are opening some new stores in Massachusetts. The first one coming up in Framingham, Massachusetts, in your backyard, your former backyard. So tell your parents, they can just walk on over. And yeah, it's a brand new shop. It's beautifully designed. The grand opening is coming up in the next couple of weeks. So I'm super excited to, see how it all turns out.
I love that. And when I do go back to Natick, and it's funny, Framingham was our big rival in high school, still is, I guess, the Thanksgiving Day football game. But that's where a lot of that's where the really good dispensaries are. So we spend time in Framingham just doing some market research and exploring, for sure. And I actually want to ask you a question. Obviously, you have people have known you for a long time on sort of the public stage, from Survivor and then being a Survivor, and you have a very public profile. I wonder, way back in the days when you were on Survivor, if you thought at some point, I don't know, down the line, you'd be an ambassador for cannabis for a cannabis brand, or even further back in high school. I don't know.
Never, ever would I thought I'd be in this position because, I mean, stepping back a little bit, I wasn't anti-cannabis or anti-drugs, but soccer was my main focus in life. And so I played in college, I played professional for 6 years after college. So cannabis wasn't part of my routine or my life at all. And, I went on Survivor, still 27 years old, not even a thought in my mind. However, later in my life, cancer came into my home. And I got diagnosed with a rare form of blood cancer. And so when that happened, I kind of opened up my mind to using, some plant-based wellness in addition to, all the chemotherapy and drugs that the hospital was giving me as well.
And it's an amazing journey, and obviously people know the story real well, but also you do everything you do with an enthusiasm and a zest for life that I think is infectious. And the Trulieve team is super lucky to have you on board. And I wonder, like, do you hear from old teammates? Do you hear from people that you competed with both on the field and on television saying like, love this move, this is great, how do we get more involved in the industry? Are you hearing a lot of that?
I am hearing a lot about that, actually, because the one thing I love about Trulieve, especially Momenta, is they really focus on research, patient education, and creating like a high quality product. So when my friends and family and just people in my sphere see that I'm aligned with a company like Trulieve, they get a little bit curious because if I'm representing Trulieve, not obviously, but I believe in it, I trust it, and so I think that just it's a good example of a brand to dip your toe into. And I think Momenta is a good brand because they have a full range of products. They have RSO, they have capsule, they have tinctures, they have ratio products. And so if you're just getting into the cannabis game and you just need help on your wellness journey, I think Momenta is a perfect place to start. And so that's kind of what I'm trying to do here. And athletics and sports and wellness is just a huge part of my life. And so I've never really tried to kind of exercise or incorporate cannabis into my exercise regimen. However, now I am. And it's a new experience. I enjoy it. It's definitely helped me stay motivated to continue exercising, especially at our old age, So I think it's a really interesting, new way for me to continue to stay active, and health and wellness is my first priority in life these days.
At our relative age of 40, you really need, all the help you can get, but you're still competing. Do you want to talk about that? Because you're still competing.
I am still competing. I am playing for the over 45 U.S. national Maccabi team. And we will be competing in the World Maccabi Games in Israel this summer. And, the Maccabi Games is the fourth largest international sporting event in the world. And we are going for the gold. So we'll be over there for a couple months competing against all the other countries in, you have to be Jewish to compete, but we're competing against Brazil and Mexico and Chile and Argentina and Canada. And so it's really exciting. And it's probably the highest level of competition I've played since playing in college and after college.
And doing it over 45 adds an extra level of bumps and bruises, especially in goal, as you play. Like, you need all the help you can get. And not offering to hook you up in Israel, but there's legal cannabis in Israel, there's medical cannabis in Israel. I'm sure the Trulieve people have lots of good connections.
Yeah, I'm really excited. There's a lot of research going on in Israel. I think they were the first adopters of medical cannabis. My nephew's autistic, and so they do a lot of research in cannabis and autism. And I don't know if you know this, but I'll send you some more information. But they're trying to transform the town of Jerusalem into the cannabis hub of Israel. And we're talking like they're bringing, hotels, grows, dispensaries, research institutions, incubators. So they really want to, reestablish this area as a cannabis hub and bring some industry and job creation, but also to help push the cannabis story.
I see a series in the future for you and I just heading over there and
Kosher cannabis kings take on Israel.
40 years after they played together, they're back in Israel. Ethan, it's always good to connect. Nice to see your smiling face. Congratulations on the Trulieve partnership and work with them. We look forward to seeing you, hopefully in Massachusetts one day, maybe in the woods of New Hampshire, definitely in Florida at some point. Good luck this summer, and nice to see you.
Awesome, man. Thanks so much.
That was episode 55 of the Cannabis Daily Show. Thank you for joining us here on YouTube, wherever you caught the program. Please just subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow.